For the most part, everything has been kind of quiet on the Karmelo Anthony front, especially ever since the judge put a gag order in place. But this has not stopped some of Karmelo Anthony's most loyal and most delusional supporters from doing their little live streams on TikTok and other platforms that I did not even know existed. Seriously. These people dwell in like dark corners of the internet that luckily I'm not exposed to unless I cover stories like this one. But yeah, these people still gather together to express their hatred for white people. They gather together on these live streams. They never share any factual information. There's nothing of value to gather from these live streams. It's just a bunch of ignorant people coming together to express their hatred for white people while cussing up a storm and yelling about whatever Austin Metcalf content creator they're mad about this week. Really weird stuff. And I question, how do these people even still have stuff to talk about? Like if you're someone who supports Karmelo Anthony, how do you make content out of that? What conversations are left to be had? What are you still talking about months later? In my opinion, in my eyes, if you're someone who supports Karmelo, there's really nothing left to talk about beyond maybe your initial reaction to the story, right? The reason why people who support Austin Metcalf, such as myself, the reason why we can continue to put out videos about this case is because Karmelo Anthony's family, his team of activists, and his supporters are constantly doing something stupid for us to react to. The reason why I could make Karmelo Anthony videos months after the story initially broke is because the family was constantly out here doing shady things, begging for money. They had their baby beating activist doing interviews and having press conferences and doing protests at the park. You know, there's a reason why people who are on Austin's side actually had something to talk about in this case. On the other hand, Karmelo's supporters don't have anything to discuss. They really don't. Hell, have we heard from Austin's mom? No. Austin's mom did one or two interviews. We haven't heard from her since like the week that this story broke. We don't hear from the father. There's not news coming from Austin Metcalf's side for Karmelo's supporters to be reacting to. So the fact that they still gather together almost every night doing these live streams is bizarre to me. Because all they do in these live streams is they create new fake news that they themselves don't believe. But I guess somehow, some way, that's what they find entertaining. Now, it recently came to my attention that during these live streams, they have been attacking and threatening kids. I know you guys are aware of an independent journalist by the name of Sarah Fields. I've talked about her multiple times on my channel. She has been the source of a lot of the information that we were able to get out of this case since the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it. So she has provided us with a lot of information. And she's been one of the main targets for Karmelo Anthony's supporters. And it recently came to my attention that they have doxed one of her kids' names. They are sharing photos of where Sarah lives. And they're basically threatening her kids on some like really, really crazy type stuff. There's some video clips out there that I can't even show you here on YouTube because that's how disgusting they are. And every other word is literally a cuss word. These people are absolutely insane. And I know I've said that before, but that is not an over-exaggeration. If you've seen what I've seen, you know that these people are off their rocker. And I'm going to show you a little bit of it, but I can't show you everything here because it's literally that bad. I don't know how they get away with doing this stuff on whatever platform they're doing it on, but I can't even show you their clips without YouTube demonetizing my videos or age restricting my videos. That's how bad this stuff is. Now look, when it comes to this case, I want to focus my videos and my coverage on the case itself. And yeah, I'll get into drama, but I want to get into the drama surrounding the case. I don't want to get into drama between different content creators or whatever you want to label them. I don't want to get into drama that is between different people who are covering the case. However, with that being said, when I see some of the stuff that I've been seeing lately, that is just downright sadistic. And look, when these Karmelo Anthony supporters are saying some of this crazy stuff, I take their word for it. I do believe they're capable of doing something bad. I do believe they're capable of harming people. Okay? I don't think that a lot of these people are bluffing. If given the opportunity, yeah, I think they would definitely hurt someone that supports Austin Metcalf for whatever reason. So I'm looking at some of the stuff that's being said, and there's this one woman that has been threatening Sarah Fields, and she said that she's going to make Sarah Fields' kids pay. Your kids are going to pay. Like really crazy stuff that you see in like horror movies type stuff. Like that's how crazy this woman is. So I think it's important to raise awareness about what's going on here, just in case something does happen. Because Sarah has been the target of a lot of hate, and the hate just keeps getting worse. And imagine if things are like this now, imagine what may happen if Karmelo Anthony is found guilty. So I think we should get ahead of this problem instead of reacting to problems after they already happened, because I do think this has the potential to spiral into something else beyond just mean words on the internet. Now, Sarah is suing Charleston White. She's suing, I believe, someone by the name of Tiffany. I can't remember the name. Tiffany Billions. I don't even know if that's her real name. She's suing some TikTok content creator as well. And she actually put out a couple of videos explaining this lawsuit, explaining why she's suing them. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I didn't know because I wasn't necessarily following the problems going on between Sarah and these people. I didn't even know that it was this bad. I had seen some of the stuff being said, but I hadn't seen it all. And like I said, there's some stuff that has been said that I can't even show you here on YouTube, but I'm going to show you what I can. And instead of trying to explain things, I think it's better to hear from Sarah herself about this lawsuit and about what she's dealing with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and listen to what she has to say, and then I'll be back with more thoughts.
If you were at home with your children, your husband wouldn't have prayed with your daughter. Bitch, that's your fault. Keep talking, and I'm gonna put big forehead Jackson Estes. I'm gonna put a bitch ass up as my profile pic. Keep on. Your kids gonna pay if you keep playing with me. I'm gonna make your kids pay.
It has come to my attention that apparently I need to clear some things up, since apparently people are incapable of doing that on their own and doing their own research. That was the voice of Tiffany Billions. And yes, I have the full live recording of that specific day, which was only like a week or so ago, and it has been sent to my attorney. But now it's public, so now I think it's probably important for me to address a few things. I'm over here trying to have a baby. Yes, I am due this week. And I'm dealing with things like this. And this. Every day. It would appear that now I need to explain why people are coming after me and why I am suing Tiffany Billions and Charleston White. And yes, I am suing them. I know I usually just get on here and post updates, journalistic updates about the case, but today I'm not a journalist. Today I am just me, and you're going to hear from just me. This all started with Tiffany Billions in the middle of May 15th to be exact, with Tiffany Billions. when Billions, whom I did not know, was creating a petition on Facebook to have Hunter Metcalf, the brother of Austin Metcalf, charged with murder. Why? Based on a trumped-up story from her and her, what she calls, disruptors. She tried to claim that Jeff swatted himself. She tried to claim that Austin was drunk, and at one point even tried to say that Austin was never even poked, that he had unalived because of an overdose on fentanyl. All of this was torturous to the Metcalf family, who had just lost their son. It was unfounded, it was lacking any evidence whatsoever, and it was targeted harassment. So I began to counter her claims with court records, documents, police records, in order to set the record straight. That was when she decided to post this. And I'm going to show you when I first took the screenshot, May 15th. And in her Facebook, she said, this was before she lost her Facebook, I try and stay out of the business of others. However, it is quite interesting to see Sarah Fields attack Karmelo Anthony while pregnant when she indeed has a criminal history specifically involving a child. I knew exactly what she was planning on doing when I read this. I knew that her intent was to attempt to expose me for something that happened 13 years ago. And I won't get super into it because you are capable of doing your own research. There was quite literally nothing to expose. I had been open about my past for years, many times using it as my testimony when I speak in church, when I sing on the worship team, on podcasts, on my own podcast, in articles written about me all over X. My past from 13 years ago is everywhere. Oh, and I was not convicted. I know they're trying to spin that story in that way, but I wasn't. The dark side of it all is that me and my two older children, who were 2 and 7 at the time, were involved in a horrible DV situation with my now ex-husband, incarcerated ex-husband. My story is about a crooked justice system and how it failed me and my children. And for a woman like Tiffany Billions, who claimed to be a researcher, you would think that she would have done her due diligence and done all of the research on this. But that was not her narrative, and that was not her goal, was it? And all of the documents that she shared used to be sealed. They were sealed before 2023, until a certain little activist on here and other platforms named Harry Sisson decided to somehow get his hands on those documents and spread them all over the X platform in an effort to dox me and my children because I posted an article about him that he didn't like. And yes, there are links and stories written about that. Just do your due diligence and research it. I'm also an open book, and I will share these links with anyone. Also, just go to my X platform and type in Harry Sisson. You'll find it everywhere. So I responded to Tiffany. I wasn't rude. I wasn't mean. I simply told her, and you can pause to read, that this was a situation that she knew little to nothing about. And then I shared even a link to YouTube, and I shared multiple links to articles in the comments. Again, I wasn't rude or mean. I never targeted her. I didn't even write about her on my own page. I went to her, and I attempted to come to her table, in her words. And this was her lovely response. Blah, 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 you're a liar. And then went into the whole shrug thing and nothing about my past, nothing about the reports, nothing about the case 12 years ago had anything to do with shrugs. And then continued to go after people who tried to defend me, saying again that I was involved in shrugs, saying that apparently she victim blamed, and then she threatened CPS on my family. I simply demanded that she include the full story, the full story about what happened to my child and about what happened to my ex. Seen here. It's hard for me to even look at it, read what he did to my child. What happened to me and my family 12 years ago was traumatic, and it took a lot of healing to get over that. And I am responsible for putting him in prison, finally. Justice was served, finally. My child did suffer, and I did everything I could to get us away from him. And I received full custody of my children. And we have continued to live as a beautiful, happy family. I am married to a wonderful man now, and we are on our 4th baby. But instead, Tiffany wanted to share documents that had before been sealed, but also had a lot more to them that she just blatantly decided to ignore. Documents that had been tampered with by my ex, who was a cop. If anything had been actually true in those documents, I would have lost my children. I would not have gotten full custody of them. And again, I tried to explain again in her comments. You can pause to read here. Her response to that was to delete every single one of my comments. And then she posted everything that I knew she was going to and doxed my children on her Facebook account. That weekend, it literally happened days later. What truth seeker does that? I'll answer for you. None. It was then that I began to look deeper into Tiffany, her criminal history, theft from an elderly person, assault, multiple charges, and she is convicted. And she continued with her lies about me, saying that I was a Smith head and a prostitute. And in the same way that she twisted stories about the Metcalf family, she twisted an entire narrative smear campaign against me. She then continued to post her campaigns using photos of minor children in her petitions, including Hunter, who was a minor at the time, continued to use the names of my 2 older children. And then she posted a photo of my home on her Facebook, which I reported. And yes, that is the location where I live, and that is where me and my children live. I reported it, and her 17,000 follower platform was gone. She then decided to come over to X, my largest platform where I have 370,000 followers, not a good move for her, and posted a photo of my home again. Obviously, I blurted out, but that was a picture of my house. It was then that Charleston White decided to get on his platform with hundreds of thousands of followers and call me a Smith head and a prostitute. Now, where would he have gotten such a story if it didn't come directly from Tiffany or from the Anthony family, who was in connection and communication with Tiffany? They also accused me of leaking private information from a clerk at the county clerk office, which is a blatant lie, and I have all the messages between me and this woman, and not at any point did she ever share any private info with me. And yes, that can be proven in court. Because of Tiffany and Charleston, I have been doxxed, threatened, my family threatened, to the point that the FBI, CID, and my local authorities have all had to get involved. And all of this started because I spoke the truth and wanted to dispel the lies being told. For example, that Karmelo was jumped by 4 different boys, and that Tiffany had seen the video and seen the altercation. That's funny because in the beginning, on Facebook, she said she saw the video and never saw the altercation. Right here. I was able to see other important things, but they're hiding the video of the altercation. Weird how that evolved, Tiffany. I guess I'm going to have to make a part 2.
Now, there's a second part to this video that we will be discussing later, but first, I wanted to show you guys part 1 because I think it's important for everyone to hear from Sarah Fields herself. Sure, I could try to explain these things to you, but I think it's better that you hear from Sarah, because who could explain her situation and what she has going on better than Sarah Fields herself? So that's why I wanted to go ahead and bring you all this clip and let you guys see what's going on. Now, with that being said, my heart goes out to Sarah and her family. I hate that she's having to deal with this right now. She's going to be having her baby any minute now. Meanwhile, she's dealing with these crazy freaks and their stupid nonsense. So I hate that she has to deal with that. And, you know, my heart especially goes out to her older kids. And, you know, I feel bad, you know, for what Sarah and her older kids had to deal with in the past. But let me say this, and I hope I don't rub anyone the wrong way by saying this, because I don't mean any harm by it, but Sarah's past and whatever Sarah had going on 13 years ago, it doesn't matter. And when I say that, I don't mean it disrespectfully, like, oh, Sarah doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you were doing 13 years ago. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, When it comes to the Austin Metcalf case, what Sarah had going on in her life 13 years ago, it has absolutely nothing, zero, zip, zilch, nada. It has nothing to do with the Austin Metcalf case in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, I don't think that Sarah's past should be a topic of discussion for anyone. When looking into the Austin Metcalf story, when looking into the Karmelo Anthony story, what Sarah Fields was doing 13 years ago plays no part in this story. What Sarah did or didn't do or whatever she had going on 13 years ago has no effect on the Austin Metcalf Karmelo Anthony case at all. So the fact that her past is constantly being brought up, I think it's stupid. And it just goes to show what Karmelo Anthony's supporters have to resort to. Remember earlier on in this video, I was saying, how can they still be making content? What do they have to talk about? You see, when I put out a video, or when some of these other people put out videos, we put out videos because there's updates in the case, or because Karmelo Anthony's family is out here doing something crazy or stupid. We're not putting out videos personally attacking Karmelo Anthony's supporters. I'm not putting out videos taking personal digging into the past of everyone who supports Karmelo Anthony. But Karmelo's supporters, they don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have anything to talk about. They're just hate-filled racists that refuse to hold black people accountable for anything. So instead, they attack random people, and they'll attack people like Sarah Fields. They'll attack any and everyone before they hold a black person accountable for literally anything. They'll come up with their excuses. They'll come up with fake stories. They'll dig 13 years in someone's past to bring up totally irrelevant information, anything but hold Karmelo Anthony accountable for his own actions. And they've made up all types of fake stories that we have reacted to on this channel. We talked about the bogus lies about, oh, Karmelo was jumped and he was robbed. We talked about the bogus lies of them saying Austin died of an overdose. We talked about the nonsense that they were stirring up saying that Hunter should be arrested. And a lot of these rumors, a lot of these lies, they're coming from this woman who is attacking Sarah that is now being sued. She is one of the sources. I'm not saying that she's coming up with this stuff, which she very well could be, but at the very least, she is using her platform to spread this stuff constantly. So many of the lies that we have tackled and confronted on this channel involving the Karmelo Anthony case, a lot of these lies have come from her and the people that she congregates with on her live streams. And you know what I find weird? You see, they try to fake as if they're concerned for Sarah Fields' kids, right? They act as if Sarah's a bad mother. I haven't seen any evidence of that. But they act as if Sarah is a bad mother. They fake concern for her kids. And then in the next breath, oh, I'm going to dox your kids. Your kids are going to pay. So they don't really care if Sarah's a good mom or not. They don't care about what her kids have going on because they will pretend that they do, and then in the next breath, literally attack Sarah's kids. How can you be sitting here acting as if you're concerned for her kids? Oh, Sarah's this, Sarah's that, and then turn around, oh, bitch, I'm going to make your kids pay. All this, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But often people like this, they like to fake concern. It's called concern trolling. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're all here showing fake concern for Sarah or her kids, but they kind of try to do that sometimes in their arguments from what I've seen. And it's weird because in 1 second they're acting, oh my God, well, is Sarah's kids safe around her? And then in the next breath, they're like, your kids are going to pay. We're going to dox all your kids. We're coming for your kids. And it's like, what in the hell? What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? I mean, if anything, kids should always be off limits. But these people are doing weird things like threatening to call child protection services on Sarah and things along those lines. And like I said, they'll say something like that, or they'll threaten her with something like that, and then they'll turn around and dox her house and dox her kids' names and try to entice one of their psychotic followers into going to Sarah's home and doing something crazy to her kids, telling her that her kids are going to pay, her kids are going to be targeted. So it's wild stuff coming from these people. And it's not getting any better. These people are only getting more psychotic. And I've seen stuff like this before in other true crime cases. Unfortunately, a lot of true crime cases go down this route, where it's about the case. It's about the details in the case. And next thing you know, you got a psychotic person that attaches themselves to the case, and then they start coming after people covering the case. And before you know it, the conversation is all about all types of other drama, and it's not really about the case at all. And that's what Karmelo's people, they're trying to do that. His supporters are trying to do that, because when you focus on the details of the case, it's very clear cut here. It's very clear cut. Karmelo's supporters, they don't have anything of substance to say. They don't have anything to talk about, but they want to keep doing their live streams. They want to still get attention. So they have to fill it with hot air. They have to fill it with a bunch of drama that shouldn't even exist. Yet this is what they resort to time and time again. Either they're creating totally fake stories that they themselves know are fake, or they're launching personal attacks. It's either one or the other constantly. And I think all of this just goes to show that for Karmelo Anthony's supporters, none of this is really about Karmelo. None of this is really about justice for Karmelo. I don't think that they have Karmelo's best interest in mind. I don't think they really care about Karmelo. I think Karmelo is being used as their excuse to hop online and spread a bunch of hatred. Karmelo is being used as their excuse to go on TikTok and rant about white people. You know, Karmelo is being used as their excuse to get on TikTok and act like middle school, teenage girls spreading rumors and drama. That's what I think Karmelo is to these people. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they would be happy if Karmelo is found innocent or let free, not because they care about Karmelo or his future, but because they view that as a victory over white people somehow. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that any of this has really been about Karmelo for these people. You could maybe make the argument that it was initially, but you're not going to convince me that months down the line, people doing live streams attacking Sarah Fields is in Karmelo's best interest or has anything at all to do with Karmelo Anthony. It really doesn't. These people don't care about that kid. They've been setting him up for failure just like they set up so many other people in their community for failure. Okay? People getting murdered and young kids in their community being murderers, it's a dime a dozen. It's nothing new to these people. So I don't think they care. They're not ready to have the conversations that really matter, conversations that may prevent other things like this from happening, conversations that may prevent other young black men from going down this route. They don't want to have those conversations because they don't want any accountability. They rather sit online and rant about white people while threatening some mother that's about to have a child. So that's where their minds are at. That's where their minds have been at. I don't think that these people are genuine in their concern for Karmelo or any of that at all. And the further we go along in this case, the less updates we have in this case, the further these people are going to spiral out of control. We probably haven't seen anything yet, but for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.